All right, let's get some real politics now. It seems hard to believe, but it's been a full 3 months plus a few weeks since the never-ending 2012 elections came and went. Now, although we haven't seen or heard much from our buddy Mitt since then, that doesn't mean that the questions and conversations about the election have ended for everyone. And Andrew, there was another one on TV this weekend, right?
And it's not just about Mitt Romney, Rich, as Republicans look for answers as to why what appeared to be a winnable election got away from them. This weekend, it was the media's turn under the microscope. Media reporter Howard Kurtz spoke with Romney's chief strategist Stuart Stevens on CNN over the weekend, asking if the media was in the tank for Obama. His answer? No, but then again, sort of yes.
That's not a yes or a no question. In the tank, I would say no. I think.
But you're saying that the press should finally be more critical of the fact that Barack Obama went golfing with Tiger Woods?
Well, I think that the degree to which there is not a choice between him and a Republican candidate makes it easier for them to be tougher on the president. I think that's natural.
So, Rich, with no Republican in the picture, it's easier for the press to be tougher on President Obama, was the point he was making.
Do you ever buy, Dominic, the liberal media bias?
Bias as far
That it's
as
real, that they slant left.
I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. I mean, because I put Fox.
Well, you're in the media, pal. You better have an opinion.
No. I see Bill over there giggling, so I'm trying to figure out where Bill is going with
I
this.
have a pretty good guess. So go ahead, yeah.
But I mean, I don't see. If you're asking me, first of all, who are the media powers that be? Who sits in this room and goes, okay, we're going to give Obama a pass? I don't see anything like that. I mean, and Fox is another extreme by itself.
Things like that remind me of the theories about the Jewish control over the media, the Jewish controls over the banks. It always, to me, boils down to a line from the movie Sneakers where Ben Kingsley says to Robert Redford about organized crime, don't kid yourself, it's not that organized. The reality is, no, it's like, people are going to present the facts. Sometimes there may be some disagreements to how to interpret those facts, but generally they speak for themselves. And people may not like what's being, the Republican Congress may not like what's being reported about them. But again, to quote another pop culture reference, Harry Truman said it best, which is he doesn't give them hell, he tells the truth, and they think it's hell. And that's sometimes what happens. People protest when they get bad coverage.
Look at Evan here, dropping a few different analogies. That was pretty good.
Good. I mean, I agree. I don't think it's organized. I think there is some institutional bias. I mean, even the public editor of the New York Times, the outgoing one from a few months ago, said that he identified some bias, institutional bias within the Times. You have more reporters or more people in the news industry that tend to skew or self-identify as liberal than conservative.
See, I think
it affects your viewpoint.
People think of the media as one big, like everyone does the same thing, and there's guys like me who do a certain job, but then there's the guys, for example, in the Times, forget the editorial page, the guys who are covering the beat, that are covering the campaign and stuff. Yeah. Wouldn't the reporter that is attached to the Obama thing, they want a story.
They want a good story.
That's,
I mean, I've been doing this 25 years, and I really have not run across it. If anything, I remember, in New York City in the early 90s, I was working in the city council, and if anything, we would get a break because there were 47 Democrats in the council and 4 Republicans, and we get equal say on the news at night. So it can play either way. But I haven't run across it as a day-to-day press person. Not like it's portrayed.
Is Brian Williams a Democrat or a Republican? Is Diane Sawyer? Is Scott Pelley? Is Wolf? I don't know because they're good.
I'm pretty sure all 4.
They're good. You don't know.
Wolf Blitzer?
You honestly don't know. I didn't know for years that David Brinkley was conservative. But a good professional journalist doesn't.
But think about it. Look at what those guys used to be. They used to be the voices of God now, right? And look at what their market share was versus what it is now. It's a different world where people are like,
makes whatever bias they may or may not be bringing to the party less impactful.
What's your next one you got?
Well, should a candidate be held responsible for the words and actions of someone they're related to, even if they haven't had a relationship with that relative for decades? We're talking about Westchester County politics, where Republican incumbent Rob Astorino, a bit of a surprise winner in 2009 in a heavily Democratic county, is getting a Tea Party challenge from his right. Kurt Colucci, a Tea Party member and author of an anti-tax book, announced Friday he's going to run against Astorino, but only on third-party lines, so no primary fight, just another conservative on the ballot in November. Colucci saying Astorino has lied about stopping what he called the county's tax madness, but here's where things get interesting. As for comment about Colucci, the Astorino campaign refused, citing instead a pair of tweets from Colucci's father. In one, Colucci's dad calls Governor Cuomo and Mayor Bloomberg dictators, and showing that picture there, a Nazi rally as the accompanying photo. In the other tweet, Governor Cuomo's head is photoshopped onto a Nazi uniform, plus there's an anti-gay slur used to describe Cuomo. Here's the quote from the Astorino campaign. It comes from frequent RFL panelist Jessica Proud. Her firm and that of tonight's panelist Bill O'Reilly, NLO Strategies, reps Astorino. Her quote, "Serious candidates must reject the politics of extremism." That includes the deplorable imagery and language used by Colucci's father online. "Until that is done, we will not dignify Mr. Colucci's candidacy with a compliment." But Colucci is estranged from his father, who he says left when he was just 3, and that he first met his father 6 years ago, adding his father's views were not his own. They were posted in poor taste. They're not a reflection on him or his campaign, and that the reaction is proof that Astorino sees him as a threat. So lots of politics in this one, but then that lingering question, are you your father's keeper?
Bill, this is all you. No one's looking at me. This is you guys. I'll be the last guy to defend a Tea Party here, but does Colucci have a fair beat to say, I'm not with this nut. The guy might be my father, but he doesn't speak for me.
Two quick things. Today I was actually called by a prominent journalist in Westchester County who asked me whether we had put up a Tea Party candidate so that we could say, when accused of being Tea Party, look what you got. You know, we're not that smart.
That would have been pretty
or
clever.
Machiavellian.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the issue with, I'd never heard of this guy until 48 hours ago or 70, whatever the day was, Friday morning when he announced. And if you Googled him, the only thing that came up was a website where there's pictures of him and pictures of Goebbels with Governor Cuomo's head put on it with some pretty anti-gay language, and then pictures of the Nuremberg rally. And we thought it was, you can't let this stuff go. We thought that you had to address it right off the bat and say, if you're going to be taken seriously in the public sphere, you have to denounce this stuff, which he did.
Okay.
We take his word for
but
it.
Here's the thing, though. We all agree, I think, that you leave kids out of it when it comes to campaigns. And when we've seen before, people take shots at the candidates' kids, little kids and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And it's a cheap shot. But this is the first time I've heard the old man getting thrown into it. If it's true that the guy walked out of his family at age 3 and he doesn't have anything to do with them, is it fair that he's got to answer for the old man?
Maybe, I think once he's got to say, because if let me Google him, and what comes up is a Facebook page with him next to these images. And so I think it's fair to
But if
ask
it's
that
not
question
his-
at least once, to say, like, I mean, that's the public record of this guy. If you Google him, what's the public thing that pops
he did
up?
say. I mean, he did say.
He
that.
said it, so we're not going to repeat it. I mean, he answered it. We
Would you like to
trust him
comment then on his candidacy?
in goodwill that we'll trust that he finds that that imagery distasteful.
Look, Colucci seems to be a wingnut all by himself. His father may be completely off the charts, but Colucci seems to be a wingnut all of itself. It probably points to some bigger problems that the county executive may have if he does have a challenge from the right in what's a substantially Democratic county where Democrats have won a lot of tough races in the last few years. So he may have all sorts of problems having nothing to do with this wingnut primary opponent's lunatic
You've seen a
father.
lot, Brother Dominic. Have you seen this one?
This one,
Probably.
this one is the actions of a great media company. It's not much of a news item at all. It's much ado about nothing. He
Wait,
hasn't.
what's Bill slipping you under the table? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.